Welcome everybody, it's JetSimmer and we are back with another Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 video. Today we're going to be going through options and settings that you would normally use or would like to use in the future. This is just a little rundown on my settings here so you understand that the computers can run this game at lower settings and it still looks very well. It is also to show you a few options and assistant details that you might have overlooked or you don't know about, and it might help you get the immersion that you're looking for or the assistance that you're looking for in the future of flying with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So first off, we're going to go ahead and have a look at assistance because it is the easiest of all the options to go through. So the first, we'll go through assistance. So I've got it set up on custom. Why is that? We'll go through it very shortly. First off, you're going to see all assists. So for those that are new to Flight Simulator or wanting to learn the ropes, assistant with an instructor will be offered during the flight by an AI or co-pilot. So you can go all assist. So there it is. Everything will be assisted to you and helped you throughout the flying aspects. So for example, piloting, you'll have assistance on auto rudder, your assisted yoke, your checklist, your landing, takeoff, and your ATC will your AI will talk to the ATC for you. You'll also have your aircraft systems, so auto mixture, unlimited fuel, aircraft lights and gyro drift will all be done by the instructor in the aircraft as per se. So if you want to learn how to fly with an instructor behind you, have all assist turns on, and then you'll also have a lot of disabled visuals, so no crash damage, aircraft stress, all that sort of stuff will be gone. So you'll have your visual only on your icing effects, however it won't do anything to the aircraft. Your navigation aids will all be turned on, so you'll be able to see city markers, airport markers, faunas, all that sort of stuff when you get close to that particular point of interest. Your notifications, you'll also see quite a few other things like your flying tips, objectives if you have an objective to do, aircraft systems and your pilot notifications. Also user experience, what is turned on when you jump into the aircraft for the first time. So that is all assist. If that's you, yeah, by all means go for that. If that's not you and you're more of a realistic sort of thing, just not too sure yet, you want to probably look at middle ground for those who want most realistic but some extra guidance. If you're getting a little bit out of all assist or you just want a little bit more guidance less than normal, then you'd go middle ground, and you'll see that a whole bunch of these things are turned off or on. Alright, so true to life. So we'll go ahead and bring true to life back up. Now, true to life is all completely hard. So this is for people that are mostly comfortable with the flight simulator and know what they want to do and know how to do particular standing operating procedures for the aircraft that you are using. So true to life is basically as real as it gets in this simulator. However, the reason why mine was custom is because in user experience, these are turned on. So checklist, UI panel on start, which I don't want. I don't want to see the checklist straight away. I use my own checklist that I find off the internet or that I find at my own flight school. ATC at start, technically don't use ATC. I use VATSIM, so I won't be really using that. So I go ahead and turn those two off. I do, however, have ATC voices turned on when I choose to use ATC. So, being said, hence the reason why mine is custom. I don't know why. Technically, that should actually still be hard, but it's not. So, if I turn those off and I turn that off, it's still custom. So, yeah. So, I'll just leave that on, and that is the assistance menu. Let's go back to options. So we just make sure we save it. I'm just going to discard because I don't want to stuff up my settings. The next is controls. How do you set your controls up and what do you look for? Now up the top you'll have keyboard, mouse, your Razer H.O.T.A.S, which is what I've got plugged in. Doesn't work at the moment. I've had it tried. I tried to use it. However, this does not register as well. Like I set up a key binding, but it does something completely different to what I set it up as. So we'll see what happens with that in the future, and we'll go from there. The next we have is the Rhino stick. I have the X56 Rhino, so it will show you a little picture of all the buttons and jazz, and it will have on the left here under filter assigned. So there are the assigned keys to the stick at that point in time. If you want to go to all, you can go there. If you want to go to essentials, you can go there, or back to assigned. I also obviously have the throttle quadrant that comes with the X56, and all of the buttons are there as well. And last but not least, the rudder. That's what I use to obviously steer the aircraft. If you have this exact setup, you may run into this problem where you will have to reverse the accesses. Otherwise, you will find that you will be braking constantly without even touching the rudder pedals. So always have to reverse them. Don't know about any of the other type of rudders, but this particular one, you have to reverse them. Now, if for say you don't know, we'll cancel this, and you didn't know how to set up a keybind. So we obviously need to set up a rudder trim. So we'll go over to all, not trim, so just rudder. We'll type in rudder. Okay, so there is the rudder access. Now we click on that and we're like, okay, we'll go ahead and start our input. Nothing works when we do our input. So we go here and we're like, well, which access is which for the forward, for your toe brakes, left and right, or left and right. So you can go ahead and look for that if you wish. But one thing that I came across, and a lot of people haven't or might have already, is just click in here and highlight it and then go and do the movement, and there you go. So for people that know what access it is, go ahead and just put it in there through the prompt. But a real quick wing, just highlight the search bar and put the access in, and then go ahead and validate it. Then just to make sure that it's all there, there you go, it's all there, and have a look. If you want to change the sensitivity of a particular access, there you go. You can change the curve, you can change the dead zone, and all that sort of things. So you can do that for every every aircraft. So as you can see, I think just knock something over. As you can see, I've got a few things here. There it is. That's that one there. So I've got a few things there that I can go ahead and change. It's not a big deal. All right. So basically, the controls are your number one go-to. I would definitely go here before you go flying, just so you know what the controls are for your particular joystick, keyboard or mouse, if that's you choose, or rudder. Make sure it's all set up. The good thing about this flight simulator compared to other like FSX, it has its own profile all ready to go for most joysticks. So most of the common joysticks. So yeah, go by all means, it will automatically give it. If you don't particularly like that setup, go ahead and change it. It's pretty cool. Unlike FSX, you'd have to go and do the whole entire thing all by yourself, and there was no profile, and very annoying. So kudos to them, and 10 out of 10 for their controls for any instruments that you wish to use. Alright, so again, I'm going to go no because I don't need to save it, but you make sure you apply save, otherwise it will stuff up. Your next one is general. General is where everything is, starting from your graphics, camera, sound, traffic, data, flight model, miscellaneous, accessibility, and developers. So, as you probably noticed, I am running on full medium with a custom set. I don't have VSync on, and that is pretty much everything else is running pure medium. I do have lens flare on. I normally take that off because there is no realism at all when it comes down to that. So that is my settings. My details of my computer are in the description, so if you want to know what my settings are to my details of my PC, go down and have a look down there and see if your PC is, if you think your PC is too low, see if you can match mine, and you'll go. If you match mine, it's very, very cheap. Okay, very cheap, very low end PC, but it's still running medium, which I find absolutely amazing still on medium. The graphics at medium are way better than FSX and prepared on high graphics. So yeah, I would even say that they're better at the moment from FSX and prepared, just using Orbix scenery. So once Orbix get into MSFS, I think this sim will be absolutely amazing. Don't know about having medium graphics with Orbix scenery, but at the moment you don't really need it. It is just absolutely a lovely simulator. The next is your global settings for your camera, or your camera settings on your global. So camera selection, your cockpit, your view functions, and all that sort of stuff. And whether you want to have focus mode, hold, or toggle. So focus mode is if you want to zoom, so you can go here, focus, so you can just right click and it will zoom in, or you can just manually zoom in. So you can have that set up on a keybind if you wish as well. Very well done. I quite like it. The next section is your camera selection, so wide angle, and it will tell you exactly what is in there. So landing camera, it is positioned slightly above the cockpit, whereas your wide is positioned close to the pilot's seat, allowing further view. And close is close to the cockpit board, allows you for good instruments, blah blah blah. Pretty good, awesome. So I have it on one selection. We also have a free look toggle mode, and we have a manual reset mode, or you can go ahead and change that. And head up mode, which is toggle. Yeah, so just read the descriptions and it will tell you exactly what. One really good thing about this simulator compared to all the other simulators, especially if you're running a track IR and hopefully in the future VR, head height. Once you activate track IR in other sims, you are locked in that position. You cannot move around and it will bring you back to the same spot. In this simulator, you can pick your head height. Now, most of the aircraft, I have selected 75%. That will bring me up above so I can see the engine cowling, which gives me a visual representation of my aircraft to the horizon, and it helps me fly a little bit better because you're not always looking at your instruments. You're actually looking out at the horizon, and you want to be able to see where your front of your engine is in relation to your horizon, which we'll get on in a new video in the future. Horizontal position obviously is where you are in the seat, whether you're in the left seat or in the co-pilot seat when you are flying. So if you want to fly from the co-pilot seat, just go into, as you can see the aircraft in the background, if you're in a sim, you could just open up the options and you will just slide yourself across, and every single time you get into a particular aircraft of the same make or whatever, it probably won't work if you're going from jets to small aircraft, but it will probably work for small aircraft to small aircraft. So you'll have to adjust it. Once you get into the co-pilot seat, boom, done. You're in the co-pilot seat. You don't have to fly in the pilot seat. So good. That's how you do that, and you can set your zoom up as well. I have it set to 60% because it's a little bit more realistic for me than 50% where you're a little bit further back. Zoom speed and free look, obviously the same thing. Camera shake. Bloody brilliant that they put it in this sim. In other sims, you would have need third-party add-ons that cost you about $30, or freebies that would have cost you to actually get camera shake in the game. I think X-Plane had a few freeware options and also a paidware. FSX had Chase Plane, which I think was a paidware, but camera shake is in this game for free. You just got to turn it on if it's not already on. Same with flashlight mode. FSX and Prepared did not have a flashlight, but I believe you could get paid freeware for the flashlight, or in I think X-Plane had the flashlight mode itself, but this aircraft actually has it. Now by default it is on auto. That means when your battery is turned off, the light will be on. However, I don't want that on because as soon as I turn the battery on, it goes dark because there's no lights. So I leave it on manual, that way the light will stay on until I turn it off. Then you have your instruments, view mode, and instrument selection. Yep, cool. Pretty self-explanatory. Go with it what you will, use it how you want. Chase camera. So this is outside looking at your external view or your drones or whatever. I think it's more your external view. So whether you want your speed, your zoom speed, and your free look speed, and all that sort of stuff. Now, a lot of people have the HUD on the external view. For me personally, I don't want to see that. I want to be making screenshots of the aircraft. I don't want to see all that sort of stuff. I fly inside the cockpit. I don't fly outside the cockpit. That's my personal preference. Up to you if you want to fly inside the cockpit or not. But if you fly inside the cockpit and you don't like this HUD, this is what you got to turn off. So when you go to the external view and you see all that HUD, the arcadey looking flight instruments, this is where you go to turn that off. So if you didn't know, you do now. So that is where that is. Thank God for that. So the next is obviously sound. So you have all your sound, your music, all good. You can change your music selection as up to legacy or to presets for the actual game. You can mute in background. You can have subtitles and all that sort of stuff. I have the sound muted at the moment, just so YouTube doesn't get up in arms about copyright. Alright, so the next section is what I want to show you is communication selection. Most of you will probably still be on default if you haven't had a look at this setting already. If you want a more realistic vibe to Flight Simulator, I have it on headphone simulation, which applies a headphone to your ears, and it just feels like you're actually in an aircraft. You feel like you got your headset on, and yeah, if you have a really good sound coming from your headphones, this might deafen a little bit. I had to go and change a few settings on my computer, but it still sounds amazing with this headphone simulation, so definitely use it if you can. Brilliant little no other sim I don't think ever had that. I know A2A and a few other aircraft, you plug it in and bam, headphones are on. So, but this is a full in sim for all aircraft now. So traffic type, we have real-time online for your traffic type. We have show traffic templates. I always have it on online. Again, read the description to the right there. So it will generate artificial traffic, blah blah blah, based on your density. I always fly real time. I find there's less aircraft due to COVID in real time. However, that's up to you how you want to do it. And you can go ahead and do all your settings there. Again, these settings take into account your graphical settings. So the more that you put up here, the more your simulator is going to have to handle all these different things. So I set it on 25. I think by default it's set on 50. This is the data. I'm not going to touch this because I did this video prior and it cancelled out my video and it stopped everything. So I'm just going to let it go. But this is the data that your internet is being consumed, or the MSF. The Microsoft Flight Simulator is consuming from your internet. So you can go ahead and limit it, or you can delete it or whatnot. So that is the settings for your data. Your next is your flight model. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, you are given straight up flight model model. If you want to go as arcadey as possible, you'll go ahead and switch it back over to Legacy and change your percentages to where you want the realism to come from. So I'm in full realistic as best as it can be. If you want to just go full arcade, then go ahead and play with those settings. Then we have our languages and your pilot avatar. You can go ahead and set all your different pilots and have a look at the legal and credits about the Flight Simulator just in there, and that's also where you change your language if you didn't already know. Accessibility. This is your whole user face interface, so your textures, interface scale, show tooltips, background color. Now a lot of people have asked me why I have this red color, and that is the main color here. So I'm running on red, which is a weird name that I can't pronounce. That is the default that you guys probably be on, and then you have different colors. I really hope that there's other colors in the future. At the moment, I'm running on red. Menu animations, that is the back in the main menu. We'll have a look at that in a second. You can turn it on and off. And then skip pre-flight cinematics. That is pretty cool. You can turn it off if you wish. I choose not to because the pre-flight cinematics is starting to load the aircraft and the area around it, so by the time you come back, it will you won't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. And last but not least, this turns the developer mode on, and you can do a few things and start making mods, change your lights. I have increased my lights density and range, so I can actually see the runway, because I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the lights in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 on my end don't really, you can't really see out on the taxiway on some of the aircraft. It's really hard to see, so you can go in here and change all of that. And it's also the only way, if you turn it on, you get your FPS there, but it's also the only way in game to select an aircraft using the aircraft selector there. If you otherwise you have to keep coming out to the main menu and selecting an aircraft. Now, going back to the animations, what I meant by animations is, if we go here, we're going to go ahead and discard. If we go here, you will see animations going around, so you can see the world moving there. You can see the aircraft little moving there, and there on the Cessna's cockpit. That's just the animations there that you can turn off. You don't have to. I think it's pretty cool just to leave them how they are. Alright, but last but not least, thank you very much for joining, and comment down below if you want anything clarified. Otherwise, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully I'll have a new video out for you. I'm trying to get one out once a day, so if I can get one once a day out, that would be awesome, and we'll do some activities and a few things in the future. So thank you guys, peace out. It was Jet Simmer, and I hope to see you soon.